What's up, everybody? Welcome to All In CrossFit Podcast, episode 13. So before we get started, just a few things to mention. May is still Bring a Friend Month. So for all you members that want to bring friends to the gym, every friend that you bring, it enters your name into a drawing for a pair of free Nanos. And also, if any of those friends that you bring do sign up during this month, they will be entered into a drawing for a different pair of Nanos. So every new membership during May, they get a chance at a pair of Reebok Nanos. The description will be down in the bio. And so then another thing from that is it's getting close to Memorial Day weekend, which means we have our annual Memorial Day Murph coming up. That'll be a great time to invite some friends over. We'll have the gym packed on Saturday. That'll be Saturday 9 a.m., correct?
Maybe 8.
8?
Maybe 8. Okay. Or maybe two groups at 8 and 9.
There we go. So
not settled on that yet.
Yeah, on that brings us into the topic this week. We've got Chris here. He's going to tell us some strategies, tips, and tricks for Murph. And so I guess we can move right on into that.
Right on into it. But first, before we get into the main topic of the podcast, I want to just give a special shout out and salute to Sadie, because this will be her last. Yeah. This is her last podcast episode for the summer. So I know you guys are so used to seeing her face in these podcasts, but this is her last episode for the summer, and we're gonna miss her. But
not the interruptions.
Yeah, not the constant interruption from sweet little girl. But anyway, Murph. All right, we've all heard about it. A lot of people have done it, and we're somewhat dreading it, but it's still a great workout. It's a 1 mile run, 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, 1 mile run. Wear a 20-pound vest if you have it. Partition the reps however you see fit. All right. So right off the bat, it's a lot of work. Okay. You know this workout is going to take you a while. It's an aerobic workout. So just looking at it, you've got to think, how am I going to tackle this thing? And there's several ways to do it. One, the most simple being the way that it's written. You know, just going straight through 1 mile run, doing all of your pull-ups, then all of your push-ups, then all the air squats. Okay, then running the last mile. That's the most simple way to do it. That is also the hardest way to do it.
High volume.
Very high volume on all of those movements. And so if you know that, you know, one of those movements gives you trouble, you know, stringing a big set together, then it's probably a good idea to go ahead and think about breaking it up. And then, or, you know, breaking it up. And with that, it's a whole nother can of worms. So the most common way people break it up, I don't know if you've done it this way or not, but run the mile, of course, but then 20 rounds of Cindy, which is 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 air squats. Which
is usually how we do half Murph when we're training leading up to Murph. Is we'll do it partition like Cindy.
Right. And so that's just, doing it that way gives you some familiarity, because, I mean, almost everyone's done Cindy.
Well, and we've been doing that a lot more in the class leading up to it, so a lot of people may be more accustomed to doing it that way.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why we've been doing that, and also because that's just a lot of movement, a lot of reps of one particular movement. And so breaking it up into Cindy is the most popular way that people like to do it. But if you look at the workout, and I mean, all it is basically 1, 2, and 3. 1 pull-up, 2 push-ups, 3 air squats, right? Times 100. And that gives you all the reps for the workout. So any combination that gets you there is totally fine. So if you know that stringing together 10 push-ups is going to lead to you blowing up pretty quick, cut that number down, all right? Cut it down and move it around. And there's no rule saying that it has to be even. So you can do some pull-ups, some push-ups, some squats, then more push-ups. You know, you could break your rounds up that way. But just breaking it up into working sets that are manageable and working sets that keep you moving is what's going to help a lot of people in this workout. I think that a lot of people get in trouble with Murph, especially Murph, is when they start to get tired during their pull-ups or their push-ups, and then they end up taking a lot more rest than they should. So if they just went ahead and had a set strategy of, all right, I'm going to do 50 rounds of 2 pull-ups, 4 push-ups, and 6 air squats. That's something that you know is 2, 4, 6 every single round. Hop down, move your chip, and then just keep moving. That's going to keep you moving. But if you just try to tackle the whole thing, like, ooh, I'm going to do 100, 200, 300, there's a part during those, especially during the air squats. I think I've done it that way before. In the air squats, where you start to question life and everything in general, and
because you still got a run following that, so that's got to be tough. Yeah.
But another thing that we will need to consider is with the hero workouts. And CrossFit HQ has produced a lot of hero workouts, and they're meant to challenge us, but they're still just another workout. So we're all doing these things for the sake of fitness. Yes, there's an extra challenge because we're honoring people that have made an ultimate sacrifice for us, and so we want to do it the way that it's written. But you've got to consider. What do we have to consider? You got to consider that you want to work out the next day. So for people that may have like some joint issues, running 2 miles and doing all those air squats probably isn't the best thing to do. So for people in that boat, if you fall into that category, I recommend scaling the run. Most people will have an idea of what distance starts to give them problems with their joints. So that should be the maximum distance that they run at one time for the workout. So if that's doing 800 meters and then coming in and getting to work, and then running 800 meters again, then totally fine. I feel like that's the best way to do it, because you got to be able to come back the next day. It's not let me do Murph and then take 3 weeks off.
And you say next day, we're not going to have our Sunday fun day this Sunday. So we will have a one-day recovery after this. So it's a good chance to push it, but you still want to be able to come in Monday and continue your training.
Right.
I mean, it's not like this is, everything that you've got, make yourself sick from, rhabdo. Whatever
definitely.
It may be, so.
And Murph is one of those workouts that leads to rhabdo. I mean, people are starting to push the number of pull-ups that they've done at one single time, or even push the number that they've done in a whole workout. And it's pretty easy to tear down a lot of muscle tissue that leads to you having rhabdo, especially when those pull-ups get tight. And a lot of people have the tendency not to extend their arms fully, but what they don't realize is that not fully extending your arms on the pull-ups causes you to tear down more muscle tissue, and increases your chances of getting rhabdo. That's something you got to look out for. There was one other thing I wanted to say about scaling this thing. God, what was it?
The one thing we need notes.
Oh, I know. But with the run. So I mean, like, that the run is maybe another hard. If the run is something that you need to scale, please scale the run to a distance that is manageable. But also, if you're unsure, some people may be unsure of like how to break it down, how to break up the pull-ups, the push-ups, and the air squats. I mean, just set a time. Like, do the run, come in and say, I'm gonna do a 10-minute AMRAP with Cindy. Yeah. Or I'm going to do 15-minute AMRAP with Cindy.
Just keep moving.
Yeah, or 20. And in that time frame, get as much work done as you can, and then get back out on the run. Because the last thing we want, this workout should not take anybody 2 hours. Yeah. It's not an event at the CrossFit Games. And for those guys, it was finish or go home. For us, it's like...
And so this has been done at the CrossFit Games the last 2 years, right?
Right.
And so the first year was 100, 200, 300. And so you saw the athletes go there. The times were different than when they did it partition the year after, which was 20, 40, 60 for 5 rounds. And so what the 20, 40, 60 allowed the elite athletes to do is they were able to push their pace because they were able to break it up and didn't allow, I think she's ready to go to you, did not allow themselves to just completely tax and fatigue, their biceps and lats on the pull-up and then go straight into the push-ups. And so that may be something to keep in mind for anybody that wants to go straight through. It may be a little more taxing, like you mentioned earlier, on your body than breaking it up. Right. And then if you are moving and say you do Cindy and that's too much, you can even break it down after you maybe do 10 rounds of Cindy, put you halfway through, and then move to a different partition.
Yeah. You think any more ways to break it up?
I know y'all were, you and Kendall did half Murph the other day. Yeah. And after y'all were finished, Kendall was, I believe he was saying that he has done the push-ups earlier on in the workout to go ahead and get them out of the way, as opposed to doing, a Cindy or, however you break it up so that it's even. Because I think he had mentioned that is something that gets in his way or has in the past. So maybe if you have a weakness and it's better for you to do that a little more fresh on the front end before you really get fatigued, Instead of doing 5, 10, 15, maybe you mix it in and add a few more pull-ups. But the only thing that I see wrong with that, or would be tough with that, is trying to keep up with how many you're at, as opposed to just doing, intervals, and you can have a chip represent each round. You know that with Cindy, it's 20 rounds, right? So you have 10 chips, go through that twice, or 20, whatever it is, that you can keep up with it. And so that's the only other thing that I could think of that you may want to do.
Yeah. And I mean, there's nothing wrong. There's no rule saying you can't have a sheet of paper out there.
That's true, yeah. I mean, you can write it down.
Is that right, Sadie?
Keep up with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, the best way to attack this workout is to do it the way that will allow you to keep moving.
Yeah, to get done.
Yeah, to get it done in a timely manner. Like I said, it shouldn't take anyone 2 hours to do this workout. If it does, you're crazy.
It's
You're
a lot
crazy,
of suffering.
and that's not the intention. Because I think this was a workout that Lieutenant Michael Murphy did himself. Almost once a week.
Yeah.
So it wasn't one of those things where he was just dying out there. He was finishing his workout in a timely manner, and it was a part of his fitness. And so I feel like even though we're honoring them, so it does raise the stakes a little bit. It makes you want to push yourself to accept the challenge.
Yeah.
You still got to consider your fitness, all right, and what's going to be better. You scaling if you need to be able to finish in a timely manner and get a lot of good quality work in, or just completely thrashing yourself and not being able to work out for 2 weeks. Make sense? Perfect.
Yep, makes sense.
So, Sadie, what do you want to add? A kiss for Daddy.
She just wants a kiss.
I appreciate that. So, like I said, we got Murph coming up Saturday. We'll make an announcement. Sometime tomorrow.
So I think Liva posted on the Instagram account, and so that I think it said 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so if we, veer off of that and start earlier, if we need to go with multiple groups, we'll make that announcement as well.
I mean, we got to check the weather. It may be supposed to be raining.
I mean, if it's like it's been this last week, it's going to be raining at some point, and it's going to be hot at some point. So we'll have different conditions we got to deal with.
So if you're doing it, make sure you bring extra shirt, extra shoes,
socks,
a towel, socks, because it could get pretty nasty. And this is one of those workouts where if it's raining, we're still doing it. Because you know me, I'm a baseball guy through and through. If it's raining, I'm not going outside.
Yep.
But for Murph, I will. Because, I mean, if you've seen Lone Survivor, I mean, that gives you an idea of what he went through. I mean, I can run in the rain to honor him. So make sure you bring some extra clothes. 9 o'clock's the time we have right now. We may move it around, go a little earlier, may run 2 groups. And remember, bring those friends, because this is one you got just a few more chances to get yourself in a drawing and to get your friend's name put into a drawing.
That's right.
Win a free pair of Nanos. But if you do bring a friend for Murph, please warn them to check their ego at the door, because this is one of those workouts where I've seen people bring a family member, and I always ask them, I'm like, you really must not like this cousin of yours, because this workout's going to be bad.
Brutal.
That cousin that's been sitting at home eating Cheetos for the last 3 years, you decide to bring him to do Murph. It gets pretty nasty. But, you got anything else?
I think that's it. Murph strategies, tips. It's just a little insight for everybody. I guess that maybe Sadie wants to close us this week.
So you want to say something?
Yeah.
No, she doesn't. All right. We'll see you guys next week.